I'm sitting here with Don Spurgeon, a major in the Marine Corps, served his country for 20 years. Don, my name's Steve Cannon. I'm the CEO of Arthur Blank's Businesses. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you.
One of the things that we take as so important inside of our organization is using this powerful platform and to shine a spotlight on all the service that goes on. Tell me a little bit about your years in service, just to get us started.
Okay, well, first, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and you can feel the power here too, so thank you. I retired from the Marine Corps. I was in 20 years. It was a truly great experience and a great opportunity, and I have no regrets. I loved everything about it. So I think in the civilian world, it's helped me. It's made me have disciplines that I probably didn't have when I was in college. So overall, it was super, and it was awesome. In the military, being a pilot is really good.
We're going to talk a bunch about that, Don.
Okay, thank you.
But tell me a little bit about, first, how you got commissioned, and then what inspired you? What were the influences that led to you raising your hand to take the oath?
I think my dad was 30 years Navy. He was a chief in the Navy, and I admired it, went out on the ships, and I liked the Navy. So that was my thought. And but while I was in college, I was kind of figuring my way out, and I had long hair, and I was just having fun. And then I ran into a recruiter and in aviation, and they had this air thing, and I went over and talked to them, and they answered every question. They showed me that I had opportunities, and they just said, try it, just come in and take the tests. And I did, and from then it just didn't stop. And they did everything they told me to do.
I'm not picturing you, Don, with shoulder length hair, but for me, the storytelling that brings to life kind of the service, whether that's Desert Storm or Desert Shield, give us an anecdote or two, because those stories need to be brought to life because they matter.
You go out, you train. Training's hard. It's harder than the real thing.
It's hard.
Sadly, most of my friends there were a lot of accidents and there were deaths, and most of them were in training. The actual combat, was high intensity, but just the experience of doing that, coming back and knowing you've seen things that no one else will see. The old story, I'm out there while you're sleeping, flying through the sky right near the earth and watching the sun come up, and that is an experience that you've been out there all night long, and finally the sun's come up and go back get breakfast, but you've just seen things that no one else will see.
It's sure. I was impressed as I was reading your bio about this Super Stallion, the CH-53 Echo.
Yeah.
The world's most powerful helicopter.
Amazing.
And you got to pilot that.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I love that aircraft. It's so powerful for a helicopter. Over 15,000 horsepower, shaft horsepower we had in the aircraft. And it was so smooth and powerful, tough to keep in the air, maintenance-wise, but wow, when it was going, it was actually fun, so powerful. And we called it the Macho Machine just on the side, because when it came into town, it was ferocious.
My unit, my howitzer battery was kind of in the thick of things. They were deployed for the better part of a year. What was your experience? How long were you deployed over there? Were you in Kuwait?
I just had come back from a 6-month cruise. That's where you go out on a ship for 6 months.
Right.
Literally, back then we didn't have internet like this. You were in deep space for 6-7 months.
Crazy.
But then I just returned, and the Gulf War started.
Right.
And I returned like in June, and then the Gulf War started in August, and they said, pack your bags and get ready. And I just met my wife now, and I told her I'll be back in 6 weeks. 7 months later, I came back. And,
she waited for you, though.
She did, but she said she was almost ready to move on.
I'm happy to hear that she held on.
That was a good thing.
That's a good story. So give me a little bit of a day in the life for you. What was
mainly initially? It was resupply, keep getting, because the infantry was way up on the front. When you'd run up there, you would see nothing for miles and miles. Then all of a sudden, these dots, and they would be holes that they've dug in the desert. And there they are, and you fly over, and they're sitting in this hole in the middle of nowhere.
Crazy.
And you'd fly out there, and you'd just support them, bring artillery. We'd move weapons around. We'd move troops around if they need to move quickly to better locations. Then we talked to the SEALs. That was fun working with the SEALs because we're a great SEAL platform. So just missions, whatever came up. And I did have rescued a Saudi Arabian helicopter that crashed in the Gulf right up near the border.
Wow.
And I had to go up there escorted with 2 fully armed Cobras.
Were you flying?
I flew the 53s and went up, and there was 2 of us and 2 Cobras, and we went up, and we lifted it out and pulled it out of the water and brought it back, so they saved an aircraft. So
Wow.
that was really cool.
Don, I can't thank you enough for all the 20 years that you've
Thank you.
invested in. I just want to say, like, thank you for coming out.
My pleasure.
You are always welcome
Thank you, sir.
in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I want you to know that.
Thank you, sir.